Let's Uncommon Fossil today. I want to talk about the third and final, if I am correct in my understanding, of the Pokemon that has an attack that leaves your opponent item locked. And this is Pikachu V-Union. It's got the disconnect attack as one of its options for lightning colors. 3 energy, it does 150, and then your opponent can't play any item cards from hand next turn. So the other item lock options, the Venomoth and the Bayonet EX, they both did 30 damage in item lock, so you were kind of playing Spite. So I was building with Spite Ops and Radiant Alakazam to kind of keep something trapped in the active and healing it off while they can't get going. But here, you're doing meaningful damage, so you're taking out the active in a turn or a couple turns, but keeping them item locked so they can't set up for the next Pokemon. So it's a different type of deck. It's harder because the V-Unions, right? If you're not familiar with the V-Unions, the V-Union, how to play it, it tells you right on it, once per game during your turn, combine 4 different Pikachu V-Union Pokemon V-Union from your discard pile and put them onto your bench. So you need all 4 pieces of Pikachu V-Union in the discard pile. You combine them together get them onto your bench. It's not as easy as it might seem. If it does seem easy, getting them all in the discard pile is not easy. Obviously, if one's prized, then we have to dig through the prizes, which that certainly slows things down. But even if not, you need to get the cards in hand and then discard them. We play some cards to help that happen, but it is awkward, and therefore I think this deck is okay at best. It's not as good, I don't think, as the other item lock decks. But this does give a big attacking option too, which does have value. Electro Ball together for 3 energy, the same cost as the item lock one, which did 150 plus item lock. This one does 250, so bigger damage can finish off something or one shot like a basic V or basic EX. So that's a nice option to have there. And then it also has Shocking Shock, 120 for 2 energy, so a little less energy on this one. Then you flip a coin if head, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Paralysis is super, super strong, but it's on a coin flip, so it's more of a secondary attack for sure. Sometimes you might want to do it if it kind of, sometimes you might do it, but generally you're not going to use that one that often. So what do we do to help power things up and set up? Arceus Vstar is the answer. That should not come as a surprise, right? It's got Trinity Nova, does 200 damage for 3 energy or 180 if one's a DTE, which is a lot of the time, but it's still not bad number. And then you search your deck for 3 basic energies, all lightning in this case, and attach them to your V Pokemon. You can power up another Arceus V or your Pikachu V-Union. So this is what we want to get. We really want to end turn 2 with having gotten all of our Pikachu V-Unions in the discard pile and then put it on our bench in an Arceus V-Star in the active with 3 energy to attack and power up the V-Union, so therefore we can item lock on turn 3. It's tough to pull that off. That's a lot of things to happen, so it's more likely to happen turn 4. The problem is that soon enough for item lock? It often isn't, but this is what we got to work with here. Trinity Nova, of course, is super good on Arceus. Starbirth, sorry, right? You search your deck for any two cards, put them into hand. Then we're playing a 3/3 Kirlia engine, right? Refinement ability, discard a card from hand, draw 2. It's a nice engine, and we need those V-Unions in the discard pile, so Kirlia is a natural fit. Energies, 4 double turbos, 8 basic lightning energies. I do want to keep it 4 and not cut the DTEs to 3. I know some people do. You could try that if you want. Whoops. But having, you need that DTE. If you can attach DTE on turn 1, it makes the life a lot better for you. And especially if you go second, you want to use Arceus's V-Star Trinity Nova just to toss some energy into play, right? Trinity Nova, did I get the right name there? Trinity Charge. The other thing is I play 8 basic lightning. At one point, I've tried to reduce that number, but I just run into trouble where I don't have enough energy later in the game, I got to say. So you could try cutting it, but I've run into trouble when I did. Maybe you can navigate the deck better than myself and cut the energy, because I certainly would like some more deck slots as just about every every deck pretty much does. All right, so what do we have for trainers here? We'll just go through it in order because it's an interesting little mix of things. Play one Grant. You're fighting Pokemon, do 30 more damage. We don't play fighting Pokemon, so that doesn't matter. But it's here because if the Grant is in your discard pile, you can discard 2 cards from hand except for a Grant, and then you put the Grant from the discard pile into your hand. So it's a way to discard 2 cards from hand. We have to get rid of these V-Union pieces, so we have to get the V-Unions in hand and then discard them. The discarding options are very limited, so 1 copy of Grant helps with that. We play 1 Pal Pad. We play a number of supporters, 1 or 2 copies of. We want to get the right ones back depending on the matchup, so like having the Pal Pad. 4 Level Ball. We don't play Nest Ball. We'll get into the other item search as we go on. Pokemon search, but this gets us the Ralts and the Kirlia, so that's just really important to get that going. So 4 Level Ball, I like it for the deck. 1 Professor Burnet. It's not always the best option, but it's nice to have as an option, right? We do have Arceus Vstar power, so we can grab 1 card. You search your deck for up to 2 cards, and you discard them. So it was designed to go in these V-Union decks. It's not the best play because it only gets you halfway there, and you still need other cards to make your turn happen. But if you're in a place where this is all you need to do, then I like this as an option. 2 Mesagozas, flip a coin if head search for a Pokemon. One of the things you got to remember is there's limited ways to get the V-Union Poke cards because it's not a basic Pokemon. Nothing that searches just for basics will get it, and nothing that searches just for evolutions will get it either. It's not an evolution. It's neither a basic nor an evolution. Obviously, something like Level Ball doesn't get it either. I'm not sure if it either has too much HP at 300 or if some of the pieces don't have the HP listed. I don't know how that gets figured out, but Mesagoza is one of the cards that will grab those V-Union pieces, so a couple copies of that. Plus, it bumps path, so I do like it for that. 3 Professor's Research, really good just for setting up like early and just obviously you discard your hand. So if you have the V-Union pieces in hand, they get discarded, but you probably don't get all 3 V-Union pieces before you play Research. So that's it's a game of trying to figure out the optimal strategy to get those V-Union pieces in the discard pile. Another way we can make that happen is with Adventurer's Discovery. This is probably the last card I added. I'm glad I did. You search for any 3 Pokemon V, which could be your Arceus V, Arceus V-Star, or the Pikachu V-Union pieces. So get 3 of those into hand. A lot of times you grab your Arceus V-Star and 2 Pikachu V-Union pieces, then discard those, say, with an Ultra Ball, and things get going from there. 2 Boss's Order, just a super good card, of course. 1 Path to the Peak, just for disruption for our opponents. Again, we're item locking. If we can ability lock 2, just super, super good there. 1 Peonia, you just kind of have to have this in the V-Union deck because if any of those one piece is prized, the other 3 pieces are no good to you. So you put 3 prizes of the prize cards into hand and then replace them with 3 other cards from hand. Could be ones you pulled for the prizes to start with. You only look at half the prizes if you have all 6 still remaining. So it's 50-50 whether you actually get the piece you need. You're slow. So even if you hit the piece you need, you're probably slowed down a turn getting the V-Union going because you still didn't have to discard and all that stuff. You didn't get to use some other supporter. And of course, if you whiff it with Peonia, then you have to get Pal Pad and get it back again like next turn. Good luck. You probably just go to an all Arceus attacking strategy at that point. 4 Great Ball, not the great card, even though great's in the name, but I like it for this deck. And I think Great Ball is actually a pretty solid card. It gets unrespect. It doesn't get respect or gets ignored, but it's certainly, I think, a solid card. And it's good for this deck because once again, it can grab the V-Union pieces, which other cards can't. And obviously you could play Nest Ball to get, which I don't play here, but Nest Ball doesn't help you with the Arceus pieces. With the Pikachu pieces at all. So I just live without that. But Great Ball, and we don't care when we get the V-Union which of the 4 pieces it has. So we can grab the V-Union, obviously a Ralts or Kirlia or an Arceus or a V-Star. You're almost always grabbing something useful in this deck with Great Ball, so I like it here. We play 4 Great Ball to jump to that, but you can't rely on Great Ball to get the Pikachu pieces and discard them both, because then you need a whole lot of Pikachus to pull things off, right? So we need something to discard with, which is Ultra Ball. Great Ball is nice to get it into hand first. Play one Super Rod, just get back some energy or some Pokemon. One Cheren's Care, a damaged colorless Pokemon. You put it into your hand along with all cards attached. So very, very good there. Get an Arceus that's damaged out of play after it's done its job, accelerating energy. Or just sometimes games go that you just stream Arceus attackers, and Cheren's Care just helps that go there better too. Two Zinnia's Resolve, a nice supporter for this deck. You discard 2 cards from hand, draw 1 card for each Pokemon your opponent has in play, so up to 6 cards. A lot of decks like to have full benches or close to full benches, so you draw a good number of cards. And of course, we're discarding 2 cards, and you know this deck is all about discarding cards. The 4 Ultra Balls, like I said, and then 2 Switch. Could play a Switch Rope. Just kept it simple. 2 Switch here. You know, the Ralts have multiple, like a 2 energy cost retreat and stuff, so having some Switch is an option I like. And I just kind of think I'd rather have 2 Switch than 1 Switch Rope here. I'm not positive about that, but so that's the list as I've put it together. You can let me know in the comments below what you think of it if you have suggestions. I put a decent amount of work into it, I got to say, mainly because this deck has been a real struggle to get to work. It's okay at this point. I still do think it's probably the weakest of the 3 item lock decks, but I'm certainly wanted to give it a try. You know, didn't want to do the other 2 and not try this one, so let's see what we can get out of the deck. All right, we'll see what happens here. I just had a decent game with it, and for some reason it did not record. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe somehow it didn't save the file. Maybe I misclicked something. I'm not sure. This deck has been a frustration, including now not getting a game that I thought was usable, right? It wasn't till turn 4 that I got the item lock on, which isn't good. My opponents had a slow start too. So anyway, so Arceus. Okay, Mulligan is good. So up against Charizard. See the rare cans. If I can get them item locked before they get going, it's great. But with this deck, it's turn 3 is probably the max. You can do it. In theory, you could build it to try and do it on turn. In theory, you could do it on turn 1, to be honest. But it's like pretty much impossible to do, I would say. So I go first. This is pretty terrible, though. All right, what do I get rid of here? I'll get rid of this, and I'll get rid of this. And I'll grab a Ralts. Gives me something to, this way I have my engine going next turn. So we'll see what happens. The odds of, pulling off the big turn next turn are super slim. I need to get Iono'd, which at this point my hand's not great. Okay. They might not have anything, though, because that's not the best play around, right? That's a play you make if they have nothing else, right? They discard a Stadium with it, which isn't a bad play. If I had lost, man, I am blanking in life now. So, okay. So, all right. What do I do? Do I get rid of? I'm going to get rid of Cheren's Care. I do have the Switch, so I do have the Knockout. I think I want to keep the Rod. That's kind of partly what I'm thinking. All right, so let's see what I hit here. If I hit a V-Star, and I did, life. The game is the world loves me right now for some reason. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because that's what I want to do. I'm going to use my Starbirth ability. I grab, I think, a Research. Let me think. Do I have? All right, I have all the pieces, right? Because I discarded one. So grab a Research, and I will grab a piece of Pikachu. And I will use my Rod, get back my energy. And don't get put back the Pikachu, obviously. That would be very, very unfortunate. Okay. Ooh, okay, so now this is tricky. I think I don't love this double energy in hand either. So I want to save Ultra Ball for next turn. That's one of the things I want to do. So let's see the energy. I'll put. Let's think. I have 3 DTEs. I'm just going to put 1 on and hope I'll just put 1 on. I could put 2 on. That was a possibility as well. I wasn't going to put 3 on, right? I think right now I have 3 energies in deck. So I have Path to the Peak. Obviously, I would have loved to get that in play last turn, right? So Path stops them from powering themselves up. Right now, they can rare candy. They need 2 pieces. They need rare candy and the EX. So they are going to lose the game here. That's what it's looking like. So I guess, so I mean, I have it, right? I have the play, but I don't want to draw the game out. So I'm just going to knock them out. But I had the piece. I had Adventures Discovery. I had Ultra Ball. I had it. So that game, you know, opponent struggled. My opponent struggled mightily. I mean, let's be honest. But you know, the decks, it's again, it's not getting there quite as fast as I like, but it's like turn 4. I was going to be the next turn, so I lost track of turns, right? So I think I can get him an item lock turn 4, but item lock turn 4 just isn't fast enough, right? Because next turn, let's see, I went first. I attack with the V-Star, and I attack with the V-Star. Yeah. All right. All right, so let's see what we can do this game. Yeah, I was trying to figure out the last game, how many turns before I would have gotten my item lock in place. I won the game, but my opponent struggled too. So let's think. Turn 1, I just played an Arceus V and attached energy. All right, so Arceus energy, that's okay. Adventures Discovery, Ultra Ball. All right, it's not terrible. Let's think. So, and then I attack with the V-Star. And I attack with the V-Star the next turn. So that, I could have got the V on the bench on turn 3. So I could have, I could have had an item lock on turn 4. So, all right, so Ralts. All right, this is not, so I'm up against Lost Zone, I assume, Lost Zone box. It's not a bad hand. I can grab with Adventures Discovery. I get a V-Star and 2 V-Union pieces, discard the V-Union pieces. No, actually, I get 3 V-Union pieces. Yeah, sorry. So this is partly why I do this, talking to myself, playing it out, because sometimes I'm just dense. Oh, wait, what is this? So is this Lost Zone box or not? I mean, these are all potentially Lost Zone pieces. It is, wow, okay. All right, so a V box Lost Zone V box. That's a cool looking energy. Okay, so getting a comfy. So I grab 3 Adventures Discovery. I get rid of 1 with Kirlia and get rid of the other 2 with Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball gets me my. So they're getting Colress. So let's see what they can do. They attached energy to Dragonite, though. I mean, I would thought they might have wanted to attach to Giratina. So Dragonite V. Okay. I would have thought they would have wanted Giratina V because they could use Abyss Seeking for 1 energy and get some more cards in the Lost Zone. But I'm not, obviously don't fully know their deck either. So Cramorant. So they ditched Cramorant. I mean, they need another Comfy and a Cramorant, and okay, that to use the ability. But they used a switch card up in that process, so they're probably going to leave him in the active. All right, tossing out a Sableye too. They're kind of really just throwing they have a lot of Lost Zone pieces, what I'll say, thrown together in this deck. Perhaps they know what they're doing. I know I couldn't pilot the deck well, but I'm not a Lost Zone expert at all. So, all right, my turn. So this is good. So let me see what I hit here. Okay, I want that. I know I want that. So Kirlia. So I want to use Adventures Discovery. See what all I hit. 1, 2, 3. So the other pieces, so I don't have anything prized, which is really good. I mean, when a piece is prized, it just is such a huge negative. So I want to let me see what I hit with the Pikachu. Actually, I can get this guy going this game, right? I can. I'm pretty sure I can. So let me get another Ralts in play. I like that. So I do have Ultra Ball, right? Yeah, so I can grab Ultra Ball with the Arceus. So let me see what I hit here, though, right? So that is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I don't even know what I grabbed. Now this Ultra Ball is almost doing nothing, right? So I'm going to go back. I do want to thin things down some. I might as well just grab him. That's fine. So now, so I want an Ultra Ball, and I need a DTE. I'm going to say duh to that, right? Should have known that that was the play. I don't knock them out, but all right, I have a lot of energy there, which is beautiful. This has come together quite nicely. So I want to get rid of you and you. What do I want to grab here? Grab another V-Star. I want to bench you. Well, let me accelerate here. Let me put you into play. Boom, comes together. Big effect. And boom. Do I want 4? I do have the luxury of 4 energies, right? Which gives me the really big attack if I want it, which I might just want to do. Oh, no, I can't accelerate 3, so silly me. It only accelerates 3. I have more energies in the deck for the future. I could have got another V down. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I should have got another Arceus V down, which I obviously could have done with my Ultra Balls. So I was just kind of grabbing stuff that I didn't need. Maybe I should have. Now that I think about it, I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking about getting the V-Union. I was a little too overly focused on that. But this is good, though. This is good because I can get them item locked, which is really good, right? Because Mirage Gate. So, all right, so there's 4 in the Lost Zone. Getting rid of some of the energies, too, which is always a little dicey. If I can get them item locked before they can Mirage Gate, of course, that's really good. So they're going to get a 5th in the Lost Zone. They haven't used Colress yet, right? So 4 or 5. So that'll get them to 7 if they get a Colress, in which case then they probably are going to get, and they'll probably have enough cards to get Mirage Gate, right? Getting the Colress is really the big thing. What did they get rid of? So 2 bosses, though. I like that a lot. Let's see that art. Okay. So those 2 bosses going to help me out in the long run. So if they can't get energy going, then very much in nice shape here. I don't know. Yeah, I think they should have attached that Giratina before. They need to do something. I will at this point just hard retreat, I got to say. Let's see what they send up. The other Comfy, no, they used him. So choosing who they want to get hit into. Okay, so how do I want to do this? So I'll get rid of the Arceus V-Star. I think I'm going to hard retreat here. Oh, that's nice for sure. Okay, so get rid of this guy. What do I want to hit into, right? What do I want to hit into? That's a nice problem to have. So let's see who's got a big retreat cost. Okay, so do I want to... I think I do want to boss something, right? What's the count there? So let me... I'm going to hit into the Giratina. Giratina is scary, so I'm going to start whacking, start chipping away at him, right? No items, so that Giratina is probably stuck in the active, and I'll finish him off next turn. Even if they evolve, I knock him out. Unless they have DTE, they could hard retreat then. But of course, they're not helping advance their energy state. They're having to manually attach, right? So the Giratina the V-Star blows up the Arceus in one shot, and such. Okay, so they get the switch in. See what they do here. I could use my other boss. Let's see, I do play Pal Pad, right, in the deck, so I can get the boss back potentially. I think I'd still like to take out the Giratina. Let's see what happens here. Obviously, I need to keep the item lock up. That's really important at this point, because now they'll be at 7. They can Mirage Gate, and Mirage Gate will get them the game. So this time, this deck's set up very well for me, right? Very well. Playing 3 Vs all into putting all 3 Vs into play right at the start of the game limits their options with this deck, I will certainly say. Let me get rid of this Ralts, just dig in my deck a little bit. I'll get rid of the research too. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to want to research DT. All right, so I think I want to draw some prizes here, right? So I want to take out the Giratina still. So got to keep them item locked. That's really key. So disconnect 150 finishes them off, and they're item locked. And I draw 2 prizes, so very nice there. All right, hit a switch card if they try and boss stall me, but which is having switch for that is really good. Did I use a switch yet? I did not. Good. So like having resources in my deck for sure. So right, they could try to stall up a Kirlia, but I have switch. I have DTE in hand as well. I have 1 DTE in the discard. Okay. So they can do 50. And then they can set up the 250 the following turn, right? So that is a concern for me, right? So I might want to retreat. I might do a hard retreat here. But if I do a hard retreat, I don't item lock them anymore, right? So that's a concern. I'm at a boss, so this 50 damage is actually very meaningful, right? So they do 50, which means they can knock me out next turn. Yeah, but it probably, is it too little too late though, right? So that's what I want to think through here. So they do 50, they attach an energy, and they have the knockout. All right, so I think do I want to grab a Pokemon? I think I'll grab a Pokemon. I think I have something, so I'm going to get rid of research. I'll get rid of Mesagoza. Let's take a look at my deck anyway. So I'll ditch an Arceus. Actually, I'll ditch a Kirlia. Let's see. I have Pal Pad, so I'd like to get that Pal Pad. Let's see. Is there any ways to increase the odds? Maybe I ditch. Do I want to ditch the Zinnias? Actually, the Pal Pad, I don't need the Pal Pad this turn, do I? Now that I think about it, right? Because I don't need the boss this turn, right? I don't need the boss this turn. Okay, so we discard Professor Burnet. Do want to keep digging. Yeah, I will. All right, okay, I have Pal Pad. Okay, Pal Pad's nice too. So let me get my bosses back and deck. Boss. Okay, so how do I want to do this? I could. Actually, I can knock him out, can't I? I think I knock him out now that I think about it, right? I will play down path. I recovered the boss. I think I just one-shot him, right? I should just take him out, I think. So I'll just do that. I'm just going to one-shot them. They can Mirage Gate, though. So that's a danger, right? I've broken the item lock, but I one-shotted them. So that, that other attack is useful. It's only 3 energy, right? Which is good. Right, there's no 4 energy attack on this one. So 250 for 3 is okay. I potentially, if I have boss, I have easy game because I can take him out with either. So they're playing the rope. I can't, I wish I could see the Lost Zone count at that point. I think I should be able to. I'll set up Arceus so I don't need to, because they could, I think they could play a supporter still. And I don't, they could Iono me, and then I could be stuck for several turns with a Kirlia while they kind of set up a little bit, which I don't like. So I want to be able to attack. And right now, I see 5 cards right now. I'm like guaranteed 5 cards because I draw for turn and I have Kirlia. And I could play Great Ball. I think there's Pokemon in there. There's not a reason not at this point. If I get Iono, then I don't want to necessarily mess with the deck because I'll know the boss is at the top part of the deck. So they're getting Mirage Gate, right? Of course, if they attack with him, they don't knock me out. But even if they did knock me, okay, Sableye. Okay, yeah, no, Sableye's fine. Sableye can take out 1 Kirlia. Do they have? They're 1 short though of the Lost Zone right now. So right now, okay, they can Cramor at me. That's fine. It really doesn't do much of anything. I do have Cheren's Care. I could get rid of the energy damage too, which I might just do. And then I put it back in the item lock next turn. They can get out. Obviously, it's okay. So let's think. Let's see. If I hit boss, it's game. If I hit boss, that is game. So okay. But I probably had game anyway, right? Without that. So boom. Right, because I probably was going to Cheren's Care. Don't need to. Can't accelerate, but don't need to. That's game. So deck, I think I set up in 3 turns that time before I got the item lock in, which is optimal. You can pull off 4 pretty often. The comparison, those are the other item lock decks, the Venomoth and the Bayonet. Both of those you can pull off in turn 2. So you're pulling off turn 2 or turn 3 if you don't get a good start, probably. so you're a turn quicker with those. So I do think the Arceus Pikachu is the weakest of the options, but this does hit for the most damage, so that kind of offsets that turn. But then you have the awkwardness of the V-Union, and I don't think it's worth. I don't think that awkwardness makes this the more attractive option, but certainly, hey, I'm glad I tried it out because item lock is certainly a powerful option now, and this is one of the ways to do it. Take care.